of my Nerf Strybolt. The Nerf Strybolt, for people who may not know what this is the front of a Nerf stripe up here, combined with, or all of a Nerf stripe up here, pretty much, combined with the back of a Nerf crossbolt back here. The reason to do this is for both cosmetic and practical reasons. The cosmetic reasons are obviously because, I mean, look at it. It looks pretty cool. I mean, a stripe, I have one over here. I mean, this is what a stripe looks like normally. It's pretty, I mean, it's not bad, but it's not really that interesting. This just throws a little bit more pep at it. So, before, after. But anyways, it's mainly just the stripe up here running everything, and this back here is just along for the ride. Which brings me to the practical reasons for doing this. The practical reason would be so that you basically can carry 2 magazines at once like this, but also gives a little bit of a stock permanently to the stripe. And it's a little bit better to do it this way than to do it with like a stock, because there's multiple stocks, and I have a few of them that will hold magazines, but they, are a tension pull. But this way, it's like you pull this, it ain't gonna come out. That way, you can mag release it and it'll come out whenever you want it to. So to create this marvelous thing, which is not straight in any dimension whatsoever, because it's my first try and I made a few mistakes. Initially I did contact cement, but the contact cement I have is kind of weird in that it's still somewhat like pliable. I've been after it like dried, and that's what happened to me, so that's why it ended up being crooked. It was at least going to be straight, like left, right, like this way, but it's not, which kind of sucks. But then after that I did this stuff called Smoothcast 65D. It's pretty cool. Basically what it is a casting resin, so basically I just blocked off some areas with Play-Doh and then poured it into there, and then it created basically a cast of the inside of the blaster, which makes it a very strong bond. Like, I mean, that's me trying to bend it. I don't know if it's flexing. That doesn't sound very good. It may have been weakened during my sanding processes or whatever, but it seems to be, it's like, for the most part, it's pretty strong. But I'm also kind of weak sauce, but like that's like more force than you're ever going to exert on this thing, because it's a flywheel, so it's not like you're going to be like pushing back super hard, which I am right now. I'm just out there at hat. I'm just kidding. So for the painting, what I initially used was a matte black duplicolor vinyl dye, and I painted that over the entire thing. I did not paint the inside, despite some people liking to do that. I didn't do that because I like my magazine wells to be very smooth and sleek and stuff like that, and if you paint over them, then obviously it's going to have more texture and stuff on it, so it's going to possibly rub, and I don't want any rubbing. I want it to be smooth and sleek like that, and I want it to be very quick release, so like this magazine changed a lot. I'm weird and picky that way. That's just like why I didn't paint the other stuff. And also, the main color I used was I got way off topic there, sorry. The main color I used was Model Master Dark Sea Blue. I used a hand painting version of it on my Warhammer 40k Tau Army, and I kind of like the look of it. So I decided to put it on a Nerf blaster because it was a color that I knew that was decent, so I decided to put it on here. Turned out a little darker than I thought, though. It's really close to black sometimes, and so that kind of concerns me, which is why I'm glad I stuck with the other thing where I didn't paint this or any of the orange pieces that basically I took off. Like, I didn't paint most of this stuff, like the triggers and stuff like that, because of the fact that, it could, same kind of thing as the magazine release, it could grind and cause problems and stuff like that, and I just don't want any of that action. But I kept this orange and stuff like that so that it, it's a toy, so I'm not like going out in public and getting shot, because, that's lame, and nobody wants that. So after that, I did all the detail work, so I did a little bit of greens here on these little triangle things, and then I also did the Nerf symbols on both sides in green, and then I also did the Strife name in white and the N-Strike Elite logo here in white. Little detail works, and then after that I just put a clear coat on the whole thing. I don't know how well it clear coated though, because it still kind of got that paint smell and texture and stuff, so I don't know how well that worked out. So the next one I'm going to put like 1,500 coats on it or something like that, make it silky smooth. So for the modifications on this blaster, pretty much the stripe is the main working horse. Really, back here is literally just a jam door that does nothing, and a magazine holder, so there's nothing really to modify back there. Other than the fact that I did find out that interesting thing is that if you leave this open when you're firing, you have a magazine back here, you can actually, there's big enough of a hole in here that you can reach in and just manually load darts. So you can be like shooting at guys with this magazine and then be loading this magazine at the same time if you're out. That way, you know, when you swap, you have actual darts in your magazine, so you can always be swapping, which is kind of cool. And super off topic. Anyway, so for modifications, what I did, I took out all the mechanical locks and electronic locks so that basically the trigger will work without anything installed and it's not being blocked by the rev trigger or anything like that, so it doesn't do red, it's just always triggering. And then also I made it so that the rev trigger will work without the magazine being inserted or the jam door being closed. The jam door being closed was the main of the two that I was really excited about because I can't count how many times I've been jammed and been like, oh man, clear this jam, and then I'll get back and I'm like, oh, it doesn't work. Nope, I'm done. The other advantage of taking out all the internal modifications is I can run better batteries. So basically what I've done is I'm running 2 IMR batteries, they're AA sized, and also 2 dummy batteries so that basically I can use a stock battery tray. So it sounds pretty cool. You know, a little bit hotter than normal. I think it's running like technically 7.4 volts as opposed to the normal 6 volts it'd be running. So it's running pretty well. It's not really too bad. I could run 3 IMRs in it, and I have done this a couple of times. I'll probably do it in the firing test later. But I do not, because of the fact that it tends to cook the stock motors, and I do not want that because I kind of want this to actually work later, and I don't think I want to put the effort and time into this thing to actually putting better motors into it because it's kind of a starter project anyways. The other advantage of running IMRs is that I can switch back to stock batteries at any time I want because of the fact that they're AA battery sized here in the battery tray. So literally all I have to do is pop this open, take out the IMRs, and go AA batteries. So like for instance, if I wanted to use this in, I don't know, Jerry's Epic Nerf War next year, and he still has the same rules as he did this year where it was no modified blasters, I could pop them out and put them in, and basically it would run just like a stock Strife, except for the fact that it would work without the magazine or the flywheel down, so, which honestly, probably not going to be that big a deal. But it'll run basically just like stock and be no problem there. So without further ado, now that I've been talking about it enough, why don't we see a firing test of this bad boy. Alright, the Strybolt with 2 IMRs. Changing it out just like that. Has a little bit sticky battery door problem. That's okay. So rolling at 3S now. As you can see, it's a bit loud. Alright, well that pretty much wraps up my review of my Nerf Strybolt project here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. It rattles.